Hi, it's Wednesday, the 13th of November, and we're here to look at the daily astrology. Actually, we're going to be looking at the full moon on Friday, so it's not today, but you need loads of time to prepare for this. So, first of all, let's share so that you can look at the chart that I'm looking at. So we'll do that. There we go. Right, so at the moment, the moon is at 20 degrees of Aries, so it's not yet even in Taurus. But in 2 days it will be, and it will then be not far from Uranus, a couple of degrees from Uranus, and the sun will be at 23, I think. Let me just move this forward 2 days. So I'm going to move that moon forward 2 days and that sun forward 2 days. So, right. So now this is Friday over here, and we've got the 23 degrees of Scorpio, and the moon on Friday will get to 23 degrees of Taurus, and there's Uranus at 25 degrees. So, right, the first thing to say is, let me just stop the share. Right, the first thing to say is that this happens once a year, but only once a year. Sometimes we get this freak thing, which means that there could be two full moons in the same sign occasionally. But that wouldn't happen at the moment because they're falling in the middle of the zodiac signs. It's when they come right at the beginning or the end. Okay, so here's your big chance to make the best of the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Taurus. So there's the lead up, right? This is your one and only this year. You'll get another chance next year if you didn't get this one right, okay? Now, it is true that it affects the sun signs most. So if you are a sun sign Scorpio and a sun sign Taurus, then yes, this is very influential for you. And the way it goes is this. If the moon is in your sun sign, so the moon is going to be in Taurus, so if you're a Taurus sun sign, then you're at the disadvantage because you've got that fearful, sort of a little bit scared moon that wants to sort of run and hide, growing full in your sign. So this is filling you with sort of little edgy feelings, little bit of anxiety. Now, if you are a Scorpio sun sign, then you have got the sun in your sign. You are in power, right? The game is yours. And whoever is opposite to you, so a significant other, probably relationship in terms of romantic relationship. But if you haven't got one, it honestly could be your dog, it could be your mom, it could be your child, it could be a friend. But if you've got a romantic partner, then it will be that one. Okay, so if you're a Scorpio sun sign and you've got a romantic partner, they are at a disadvantage. So then it doesn't matter what sun sign they are. It's the way it falls. So it doesn't matter what their sun sign is. You could be a Scorpio and you could be going out with an Aries sun sign, and they would still be at a disadvantage. It's because the sun is in Scorpio, so it's a powerful thing. Right. Okay. So I'm just excuse me. I'm just going to go back to the chart again. Okay. Right, and share that again. Okay, so the presence of Uranus. Well, poor Taurian sons, you're going to feel this and not be too happy. What's going to happen is you're going to get a disruption of some kind. Something gets uprooted, or there's uproar, or there's a sudden rush of something. Now, this can be something quite pleasant. It doesn't have to be anything bad. However, it's the suddenness. It strikes like a meteorite. And for Taurus, always wanting to be slow, languid, lying next to the stream on a sunny day, taking in nature. The last thing you want is an electrical from Uranus. Now, Uranus is about ingenuity. This is like a genius thing. It can be a bolt of lightning, which means some insight onto something, a sudden burst of energy, a light bulb goes on, and to an air sign, that would be a fantastic thing. But to Taurus, they just like everything to be predictable, so could be a little bit jumpy. The fact that the moon's there, then that means there's a little bit of fear involved. The moon is, after all, yin, it's feminine, and it really doesn't want to be exposed. It likes to withdraw. It doesn't want to take on Uranus for sure. But there you go. Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is square to both Taurus and Scorpio. So this is not the best match, really. It feels quite difficult. However, these things are really good for you. It's another opportunity for personal growth. And full moons, they're a storm in a teacup. They like, yeah, it could be a bit of disruption for a day, but honestly, it tends not to go on. Right. Now I'm going to stop sharing again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider what this is all about for not just Taurians and Scorpions, but also for all of us, because we've all got Scorpio and Taurus somewhere in our charts. Everybody has a birth chart with every single zodiac sign in it. You can't get rid of them. You're born with them, and somewhere you have experience of these two signs. So if you're not a sun sign Taurus and a sun sign Scorpio, then have a look where it is in your chart if you're able to do that. And that's where the action will be. So if it's in the third house and the ninth house, then it's going to be to do with communication, local environment, learning something, communication, teaching, giving advice. Just work it out with your houses. But anyway, there are some general things that I can talk to you about. So the first thing that we have to understand is that we're dealing with feminine. So both Scorpio and Taurus are feminine zodiac signs. So Taurus is an earth sign and Scorpio is a water sign. Now, you can apply to both of these zodiac signs the word feeling, but they both have a different interpretation or a different experience of feelings. Right. So to Taurus, feelings are an intense physical feeling. Right. So Taurus likes the touch of skin. It likes the softness of something. Taurus wants to have the best wine, the best champagne, the best lingerie, beautiful silk clothes. It wants to taste chocolate and the best food. There is something very intensely sensual about the Taurian liking for physical feelings. And it's about smell as well. So it can be about touch and smell and taste. Now, on the other hand, Scorpio is all about intense emotional feelings, right? So this is all about love. It's all about the heart. It's all about the feelings that, let's face it, that can take us into the frenzy of exquisite pleasure, total excitement, totally in love, or they can dump us down in the most terrible depression because that love wasn't requited. It was not offered back, or we've lost the love, and that can be the most awful pain, just dreadful. So, and I'm always saying this. Queen Elizabeth says, grief is the price we pay for love. It's that kind of thing with Scorpio. Okay, so they both, because they're feminine, they both want to cling, but in different ways. So with Taurus, you get a sensual but a non-emotional merger. Taurus is not an emotional sign, and so many people get fooled with this. What Taurus loves is the physicality, holding, touching, caressing, feeling with fingertips, right? But it's not an emotional merger. It's not an emotional sign at all. Whereas Scorpio is completely emotional, so much so that Scorpio often daren't show its feelings to anybody and gets a complete pan face, and you wouldn't guess that they were in love because they know how much they can be hurt, and so they have a rigid mask which goes on. So Scorpio is about an emotional merger, an erotic emotional merger. Erotic is the word that has to come in here. See how these are balancing each other, but they're different. So Taurus is very self-centered, very centered to the self. So it's about self-gratification. Okay. Now, Scorpio, on the other hand, is the desire to be joined with, the want to own or to consume another in an act of taking the other for love, to merge with it in an emotional and erotic way. Okay, so Scorpio is about the world of two, and Taurus is about the world of one. Okay, see the difference? Taurus is all about personal possessions, right? So that's my chocolate, by the way. Whereas Scorpio represents in astrology shared wealth. Scorpio is happy to share wealth as long as the partner, the other significant other, gets them deep down inside. What Scorpio wants to know is there is a bond, a love bond, which cannot be given words. You cannot speak about it. Scorpio just has to get it deep down inside. And if Scorpio gets that, happy to share. But if it doesn't get it, then it becomes avaricious. Anyway, right. So let's throw in Uranus and say that, yeah, there is something of a potential revelation, something of a potential event, I suppose. Uranus is at its best when it is coming in with something that is ingenious and just sort of like bang, and it comes, and whoo, wow, look at that, like a firework, really. So the two signs that are always at odds when the Taurus Scorpio axis is activated is Leo Aquarius, because this full moon is cutting across their signs, so everything is square to them. And so if you've got a Scorpio, if you've got an Aquarius or a Leo sun, you're not going to feel that comfortable. However, for the rest of us, it really depends on the position to do with these two signs in your chart. And how much you like chocolate and champagne and racy, romantic action, let me say. Right. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's anything else. I'll just have a quick look. Animated page. I suppose what I could do is share it with you, couldn't I? Instead of doing that, let me come back and go to the share. There we go. Let's share again. Right. So that's that. Okay, what else have we got? I think a lot of this I covered yesterday. We've got some stuff coming up, which of course I'll do tomorrow. But I think actually that's really all we need to talk about today. So let's stop the share. And I hope that was useful. And I'm going to say have a great evening. If you're, it depends where you are, of course. But anyway, I shall see you tomorrow. And I'm just looking for as usual, can't find it. Anyway, so thanks very much for listening. I really appreciate it. And it keeps the numbers coming up. And thank goodness for you. And thank goodness for that. Otherwise, I'd just be sat here talking to myself, wouldn't I? And that wouldn't be good. Okay, thank you very much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.